So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the one skill that I think golfers need to get better at, and first of all learn about if they're going to become a great ball striker with every single club in the bag. So far too often I see golfers, whether it be in the driving range or on the golf course, that they set up to hit a golf shot and they're pretty confident in what they're swinging like, and they'll stand there and they'll hit shots that are fat, topped, and all in all, they've just got no idea when that really good strike's coming. And when they eventually hit that absolutely perfect one, they'll set up, like I said, just like playing roulette, don't know what's coming, and they get that great strike, that good golf shot, and we can see there, delivered the club really nicely to hit an 8-iron, 160 yards through the air, nice and straight. But when you ask them what they've done, they don't really know. So I'll always open it, as I'm going to open this video, by saying, when the golf ball's on the floor and you hit a good shot, should you make any contact with the ground at all? To which most golfers aren't usually sure. So then I'll say, right, do the best players in the world hit the ground? And they say, yes, absolutely. Next question is, do they hit ball or ground first? And they'll say, well, they definitely hit ball first, but very often I hit ground first. And the ones they top, they don't touch the ground at all. So what I would say is the skill you need to learn is controlling where the lowest point of your golf swing is. Now let me explain. So when you look at the swing face on, basically the club moves in a circular motion around your body. So the club moves up on the way back, then moves down, reaches its low point, and then travels back up. So we get told a lot about we need to hit down on the golf ball with certain clubs, we need to hit up with driver, potentially. Now, I never ever want you trying to hit down or up. If you learn how to control the low point of your golf swing, you will control whether the club is moving up or down to optimize each club. But definitely when we're hitting any shot on the floor, and that's whether we're in short irons, mid irons, long irons, hybrid, fairway wood, and I'm going to hit a few with each, we want the lowest point of the golf swing to be ahead of the golf ball so that the club is traveling down, hitting ball and then ground. Now, when we watch most people's practice swing though, it's pretty good. The movement's good, and when you look down the line, even when guys show me practice swing videos, everything looks very good. But then they go to hit the shot and it's very different, isn't it? And what's that key difference between practice swing and actual swing? It's just simply that the golf ball's there and that you're trying to make the golf ball do something. So the drill we're going to use, we're going to take the golf ball away to begin with. And on my mat, I can scuff the mat, but you could draw lines on the mat if you're on the driving range, or you can scuff lines on the grass. And we're looking for two lines, one where the ball's going to be, and then one maybe 3-4 inches ahead. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up on the back line, but when we do our swing at the moment, and for a short time the ball's in the middle, so I'm going to keep that there, we're going to try and hit that front line. And you can do it. I'm very much as a coach a believer that try not to pass over too much of what I feel in the swing, kind of set the golfer the task and let them learn what they're going to do. So if I set up there and then really try and hit that front line by looking at the front line, I think I'm pretty good at it. You know, there I probably touched a little bit further ahead of the line. And the low point on the mat isn't necessarily where you touch the mat, because the club would continue into the mat a bit, and on the grass it'd be the deepest part of the divot. But straight away there, that was successful. Whereas what I will tend to see with golfers is they'll tend to hit back here to begin with. So do a few if you need and go from there. Then all we're looking to do, and I've got 8-iron in my hand at the moment, so 7, 8, 9 wedge, we're looking for the ball to be very central in the stance, but rather than focusing on the golf ball now, because that's what golfers do, isn't it? Comment below if that's you. They don't focus on where the low point of the golf swing is, they focus on the ball. And then because they think that the ball is the low point of the golf swing, that's where the problem arises. So I'm going to set up, club behind the ball, but try and hit that front line, and let's see how successful I am with that. So there we go. Straight away, 1.1 inches ahead. The club has travelled down 1.4 degrees. and the carry's 150 yards. Now, I would say for me personally there, I'd be happy with the feedback from TrackMan, but it didn't feel my best strike. And definitely with a short club, I'm looking for the lowest point of my swing to be kind of opposite my left armpit, so just inside my heel. So I think I got my low point ahead, but not far enough ahead there. So I might even on this one look a little further ahead than the line and see how that goes. That one instantly felt better. And we can see low point 2.8 inches ahead, clubs travelled down 3.4 degrees, and then again back out at 161 yards. So that's short irons dealt with. Now, as the clubs get longer and the ball's on the floor, we want the angle of attack still to be travelling down, but less so we can utilise a bit more what little loft there is on the club head. So instead of having that ball on the line now, with the 5 iron, I'm going to move it just slightly forward, maybe half an inch forward, but still focus on that line ahead of the golf ball. So the ball position's just slightly forward of centre now. Exactly the same idea though. Look ahead, put that swing on it. And we can see there, low point 1.9 inches ahead, so the club travelling down 2.2 degrees, so less than it was with the 8 iron, and carry out there at 176, total at 184. So moving into the hybrid, very much kind of like that kind of mid to longer iron, ball position just slightly forward of centre. Now, before anyone makes any comments that maybe my distances aren't quite up to normal, had a week off with a bad back, still not 100%, so that's my excuse, but comment below if you struggle with a bad back or have struggled with a bad back. So ball position very much like with 5 iron, looking for delivery to be very similar. And there we can see 1.9 inches ahead, again club travelling down 2.2 degrees, a little bit more carry out there at 189 and total at just under 200. So moving into the fairway woods, I'm probably going to put the ball now on the front line. Now I'm going to then look a little further ahead, but if that was the middle, and I know my low point should be slightly ahead of that line. So the ball's now quite a bit forward of centre. Low point should be ahead, only slightly, but still club travelling down so we get that ball and then ground contact. But the longer shaft and less loft, I need less of that. Probably not right out the middle of the golf club. A little further forward than I would have hoped, nearly 3 inches ahead. Club travelled down 3 degrees, but I'd absolutely take that with 5 wood at 210 carry and 226 total. So we could definitely see with all those clubs, irrelevant of what it was, as long as the ball's on the floor, we wanted that low point ahead, which created ball and then ground contact. Now, driver's a bit of a different beast. You can hit driver very well having that low point ahead, but if we want to maximise distance, we'd like the low point behind. So I would say we're going to obviously move the ball position quite a bit further forward, so maybe even up more towards kind of that left big toe. I would actually set the club face slightly behind anyway, to begin with, and just to address, maybe have a little bit more tilt away from target, but then certainly focus the eyes much further behind the golf ball. And you can see if you can deliver driver a bit more like that, low point 5 inches behind, clubs travelled up 3.2 degrees, and then 241 and 260 carry. So before we start worrying about lots and lots of other things in your golf swing, the key is, can you get a good strike on the golf ball with every club in the bag? And if you can, it's such a big advantage over most golfers. And if you can learn to control where that low point is, with the ball on the floor, obviously the furthest back would be centre of the stance, maybe sometimes fractionally further back, but focus the eyes ahead to get that low point ahead, get ball and then ground. If you want to maximise driver with distance though, tee the ball up, set the club back so you can look behind the ball and put that swing on it. If you can control low point, you're going to be so far ahead of most golfers and hitting so much more high quality shots than them.